Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Really appreciate seeing a crowd here. Denise?
Good evening. So I see a lot of faces here, and I want to welcome not only community, but I want to welcome all of our city leaders, employees, participants, volunteers, everyone that's here this evening. You guys are all who make us up. Community is who we are. Whether we serve in a public office, whether we serve in a peace officer, whether we serve as a volunteer. We all live here, and we all want the best place for all of us. So, as I welcome everybody, I will introduce myself. My name is Denise Lustelot, President of the Clearlake Chamber of Commerce. This is the third year of our State of the City, and I am proud that we have been the sponsor of this event for 3 years in a row now. I hope to be here 30 more years. I would like to introduce my board. As many of you as are here, if you could stand when I say your name, please. Vice President John Jensen with Lake County News. Already standing, I see. Mrs. Jamie Yates, our treasurer. May I mention John is our vice president, sorry about that. And our treasurer, Mrs. Jamie Yates, Enterprise Towing. And our board member, Greg Folsom, City of Clear Lake. You got away with a little wave. Okay. Our board member, Steve Gibson with Foods, Etc. Our board member, Stephanie Codling, individual member, may I mention. I haven't seen Clay this evening, but our board member, Clay Goodboo from Canuck Teas. Give him a hand, though. And our other busiest lady, board member Rebecca Southwick with Community First Credit Union. She was going to be late. And may we all give a round of applause for our newest and our most proud member to the Chamber family, Patrick Prather, our office manager. So each year I give a little bit of history on the Chamber. And it starts out with us kind of being homeless, which I won't start there this year, because we had our first anniversary in June in our permanent home, and we are still continuing in our permanent home, which is going to be our forever home. We're never leaving. And that is in the Highlands Park community there area, and it's a nice little yellow building there. So please stop in and visit Patrick and see what we have to offer. We are growing by the minute, and that's what I'm saying exciting tonight. We have had 26 new members since February of this year to our chamber. I remember years, we didn't, I think, have any new members, let alone barely any money. We are succeeding, we are thriving, we are growing, and with our newest community members, the anchor stores that just came recently, Big Five and Tractor Supply are some of our newest members. So what does all this equal? It equals a thriving community. It equals thriving business, thriving people, striving for networking and community involvement, and that's what we hope to bring as the Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce. So to stay up to speed with us, because we're moving quickly, you need to see Patrick over at our chamber table there and put down your contact information so that you can stay in tune with our events and what we have coming up in the community. We'll be doing mixers monthly. We do community events sponsored as this one. So remember, you do not have to be a business member to be part of the chamber. One of our board members is an individual. So please, come see what we're about and become part of the growing, fast-changing, and evolving Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce. And we're also always look for volunteers. I'm not going to harp too much longer. This is my last little plug here. Volunteers really help the chamber out. Patrick is our sole person among the board. And I do recall a time where we had no staff at all. We were a working board and we did everything ourselves. So now we are thankful to have Patrick, but we can always use volunteers to come in and learn about Lake County, learn about our businesses, learn about who we need to promote, who we need to be part of, and what is great about our area and our city. So with that, I want to thank, I do see representatives here from Lake County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for coming this evening and enjoying our presentation and seeing where our city is going. And there's no questions and answers, sorry folks. But with now, I will introduce our mayor, Bruno Sabatier.
Thank you, Denise. Good evening, everybody. First off, what an honor to have your support and to be elected as a council member, and let alone to get the support of the council to become the mayor this year. My life has never been so amazing, so exciting. I get to be involved in everything that happens in our city, and I couldn't be prouder of the place that I get to stand and it's all because of all of you. So thank you very much. I'm still new to this city in comparison to the majority of you probably sitting down in this seat. I've been here for 10 years. I've moved around multiple places. I've lived in Novato, Sonoma, Eureka, and in 2008, I landed right here. My wife was born and raised here in Lower Lake, and I made this my home. For being in a small town and being so new, the opportunities I've been given has been amazing. I got to go to a wonderful college here. I got to have my first experience of being elected. I was elected student body president. I made a decision to go out into the community. I built a team in the college and we started making events here in our community for our youth. I'm amazed at the opportunities that have been given to me. I really believe that this community has opened their arms to me and has really gave me every possible chance to be successful. And I thank you so much for that. Being part of a team is what we do here. So of course I'm going to introduce my team, our team. It's not my team, it's our team. Vice Mayor Harris, please stand up. Councilmember Bennett, Nick Bennett, please stand up. Councilmember Kramer, Mr. Russ Kramer, please stand up. And Councilmember Overton, Ms. Joyce Overton. So I'm going to be honest with you, in our team, we're all very young in experience. The majority of us have only been here less than 4 years, other than Joyce Overton, who's been here for, I believe, 14 years. That's a young team, but we're making the changes that we need to make. We've learned as a team how to listen to our residents and what it is that they need to see in this city. And I don't know about you, but the reason we're having our 3rd annual State of the City is because we have the right to gloat that we're making changes. Things are happening in this city, and it's amazing. So I kind of want to continue as to what Denise started talking to you about. All council members started in the same place that I started. We all decided to do something for our community to help not just us, but to help everyone else that lives here in our community. It's the act of volunteering, it's the act of giving rather than just taking that really makes a community be what a community is. We have booths all around here that do extraordinary work to make our city wonderful. They have the opportunity for you to go there and sign up and decide to help them out. Volunteer. We have our Clearlake Police Department. Without our volunteers in policing, we wouldn't have the same wonderful police department that we have because they do so much and they are critical to allowing us to be successful. Our animal control would not be able to have the success they are now seeing today if it was not for the volunteers we have as well as the new officers that we have in our department. And they're always looking for more. We have CC4C, and I should probably say what that means. Citizens Caring for Clearlake, one of the most amazing groups that has come out of this community since I've been here. Their email list must probably be close to the hundreds, if not more, and they do not take a week off. I get constant emails of all of the projects that they're working on to help our city be a cleaner city, a better city, a safer city, and I can't thank them enough for the work that they do. And you can sign up with them and help them in their success as well. One of the things that I saw recently, the fires have been on my mind constantly. I'm still dealing emotionally with some of the things that I've seen, that I've experienced, is the love that we have in this community. I was just here the other day, right in this area, talking to the Lakeshore Lions Club. They had a district meeting here. And I was telling them, you know, we happen to be one of the poorest counties and poorest cities in the state of California, but we will give the shirt off our backs to help you out. When we have a crisis, when we have a tragedy, our community comes together like I've never seen in any other community that I've lived in. And so I'd like to highlight some of the things that I witnessed. We had volunteers over at Lower Lake High School, led by Sarah Fuchs, that did a fabulous job to help, I believe it was almost up to 480 people at one time in the Lower Lake High School Evacuation Center. Those volunteers weren't paid, they were volunteers, and they didn't have to do this, but they chose to do this because they wanted to help their neighbors. They wanted to help their fellow community members. Over at Austin Park, we had a group called Rumors Cafe from Lucerne set up shop and start making food for everybody that was staying at our parks. That was led by, I don't know their full names, but I know it was Country and Piper. We had a gentleman named Troy who offered free showers without getting paid, just voluntarily helps out in emergency situations. Usually goes out to the Moose Lodge, but they were evacuated, came down to Austin Park and offered showers to the community members. And last but not least, I want to really highlight a group that did a fabulous job. I don't know if any of you went up to the Big Five and Tractor Supply parking lot during the time of the evacuation, but food was handed out regularly, led by Crystal Williams. If you could please stand up. So I want to show you how many people. Oh, she's next on my list. She's next on my list. I want to show you how many people came together to provide for those they probably never met. So again, I've already said Crystal Williams, Natalie Baker, George Bird, Tika Booker Thomas, Sandra Thomas, Nanny Sims, Michelle Savine, hopefully I said that correctly, Dwayne Wiggins, David Burrows, Lynette Flesh, Raquel Smith, Leilani Thomas, Stewie G, Shirley Ballier, sorry, I want to say that in French, Mariana Hill, Janae Hill, hopefully I said that right as well, Charles Sparks, Starla Carr, David Burrows, Michelle Wiggins, Lori Kent, Tama Prokopowicz, sorry if I butchered that, Rhoda Thomas, Colleen Henninger, Dylan Ketchum, Tyler Myrick, Joanna Wakeman. That is not just a few people. These are not just a few people that came together and decided to do something. This is a whole gang of people that cooked in their homes, that helped serve people for the love of helping others. And we do that really well here. And I want to just really highlight those that stand out and make those things happen. I also want to call out Fabian Juarez and Tina Clark, if you could please stand up. Both of them, I saw them running around from Lower Lake High School to Middletown High School to Austin Park and Redbud, asking every individual what it is that they needed, and they did their best to provide what it is that we couldn't provide to them because some of these places were not official evacuation zones. But they didn't care. They cared for people, they cared for their neighbors, and they did what we see always in our community that makes us an amazing community. Thank you very much. So I'm going to finish this up and I'll introduce our city manager, Greg Folsom, but I want to finish off with a challenge. I want to challenge everyone in this room. Look around at the booths that we have. Look around at the things that we're going to be talking about, the achievements of our city. How can you help? How can you be a part of what we're doing? Because the city, it's wonderful. We get to have workers that do specific jobs, but we're very limited in what we can do. I would love for every single one of your roads to be perfect today, but I'm going to be honest, it's going to take some time. But everything we do takes time. When we clean our houses, it takes time. When we do our yard to make it look nice, it takes time. This is 10 square miles of city. So I challenge you. What can you do to help our city be better so next year we can talk about your achievements? I challenge you. Thank you so much for being part of this community. Thank you for loving this community. Thank you for making this my home. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our city manager who has helped us steer the ship to be in the correct direction, Greg Folsom.
Thank you, Mayor. Really appreciate it. This is our third year. Thank you all for coming out here. If you've been here before, you know what this is about. This is about positivity. This is about celebrating what we've been doing right and just talking about where we're going, but it's all about what's good. Clearlake is on the rise. All right, so Denise was talking about our little yellow house. There's our little yellow house right there. That is the visitor center. If you haven't been out there, get out there. Go to the back of it. It's beautiful. It's got the most beautiful view of the lake. I don't know if you saw our kiosk back here, but we're going to have a kiosk over there. It's great. So thank you. So the purpose of the State of the City is to update all of you, our citizens of Clearlake, of the City Council and City staff accomplishments over the last year, and to provide an update on current projects and explain some of the future plans of our city. I am Greg Folsom, the city manager. I've been here 3 years now, and I will be your host for the rest of the evening, so thank you. He was introduced before, but this is Patrick Prather. We are extremely happy at the Chamber to have Patrick there. He has brought professionalism to the Chamber. He's been doing a great job doing outreach. Go visit Patrick. If you don't know him yet, go meet him. The Clearlake Chamber is our sponsor tonight. I'm on the board. Please join the Chamber. The Lake County Chamber is here also. Join the Lake County Chamber. There's no reason you can't be members of both. If you haven't gotten over here to have some of the catering, Chatterbox Catering has provided these appetizers. They're phenomenal. And I'll give two little plugs here. We have Classy Cakes. If you hadn't had the cake, they are a new business that I talked about in one of my previous states of the city. They provided the cake, but it was actually provided by the mayor. So the cake is compliments of the mayor. So thank you very much, Bruno. Be sure that you all come out to the Highland Senior Service Center annual benefit dinner. They've got tickets over here. It is going to be on September 8th. Senator Mike McGuire is going to be there talking. Assemblywoman Cecilia Aguiar-Curry is going to be talking as well. They've been instrumental in helping this county to recover from the fires, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Photo contest. Did you guys see all these photos that we have all around? This is from last year. These were the winners from the photo contest. The photo that was voted number one was this one. It's right up here. It's also right over here. It was by Elizabeth Larson. I think it's phenomenal. We are just opened up our most recent photo contest. That will be going through November 30th. For more information, go to our website. But this is what we're doing. We're the winners we are putting up in our city facilities. So you'll be seeing these pictures here. You'll be seeing them at the visitor center. You'll be seeing them at City Hall. So please, if you've got great pictures, and this is one of the things that really struck me about Clearlake since I've been here. I've never lived anywhere where I just want to pull over all the time and take a picture and go, oh my God, that's so beautiful. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. And in fact, one of my pictures is back there. I think it's awesome. So before I get too much farther, I do want to call out the Clearlake Wildlife Youth Art Project from the Children's Museum of Art and Science and the Art House. They have 11... Oh boy, I'm having a hard time reading your writing now. But there's 11 of their murals throughout the city, and they're working on some for this year as well. Can you get, those are all murals in the back. We had them on display last year as well. Can you give those kids a big hand? And please, if you're able to sponsor those are beautiful, and they're helping those kids to have an art project. So thank you very much for that.
And to beautify Clearlake.
Oh, and to beautify Clearlake, exactly. Thank you. All right, so our agenda for tonight. I'm going to do it just like we did last year. I'm going to do some staff recognition and introductions. Unfortunately, just like I did last year, we're also going to talk about some fires. I've got some special thanks. We're going to talk about our strategic plan, how we're making Clearlake cleaner, safer, and better, and have some more project updates. And then we have a special video. However, it is not the, what do they call that? The lip sync. It is not a lip sync video. It is a promotional video for Clearlake that's been put together by one of our staff members. So, I warned you, Lieutenant Selly, can you come up here, please? I told him to sit up front so he wouldn't have to make the long walk. I know you all know Lieutenant Tim Selly. He's been with the Clearlake Police Department for 22 years, correct? 24 years. All right. I don't think I've ever worked with anyone as dedicated to any city as Lieutenant Selly. He's just a phenomenal cop, a phenomenal person. As you all know, he was acting chief from December 2015 due to Chief Clausen's injury. He became the interim chief in January 2018 when Chief Clausen retired. He had over 2.5 years of leadership for the Clearlake Police Department. He's led the police department and the city through multiple fires. The Clearlake Police Department was markedly improved under his leadership. He is one of the many heroes in this community. So I just wanted to recognize him for everything that he's done. We have this little plaque for him. And Tim, I just want to thank you very much. Another new person that we have on staff that I want to introduce is a fellow named Alan Pyatt. He is our new city engineer. He's a licensed professional engineer with expertise in capital projects, infrastructure management, stormwater management, experience working with both the public and private sectors. He's managed projects that have received awards from the American Public Works Association, American Society of Landscape Architects. Another rock star. Can we give it up for Alan Pyatt? Another person new to our staff, but not necessarily new to the county, Alan Flora. He's, as of July 1st, our Assistant City Manager. He is formerly Assistant County Executive Officer for Mendocino County, also the former Deputy County Administrator for Lake County. He has budget and planning experience in education. He put together our most current budget. It is fantastic. We're putting it forward for a Government Finance Officers Award, so give it up for Alan. Another new face this year is our new chief, Andrew White. He formerly was the second in command and acting chief in Sassoon City. He was the technology guru for Sassoon Police Department. It's kind of cool because Alan's got a tech background, Andrew's got a tech background, and you're going to be seeing a lot more tech stuff happening with the city of Clearlake. Andrew has animal control experience, code enforcement experience, 10 years teaching experience at the Napa Valley Criminal Justice Training Center. He has family that lives here in Lake County in Clearlake, and he himself lives in Clearlake city limits. Can you give it up for our new chief, Andrew? Also, again, all you folks, come in here. Come on in, all of you. Have a seat. Melissa Swanson, she is your elected city clerk. She leads the Administrative Services Department. She has so many hats. She is a city clerk. She heads up our human resources, our city facilities, our risk management. She manages the front desk folks and the reception personnel. She's my right-hand gal Friday. I couldn't do anything without Melissa, so thank you very much, Melissa. Our city attorney, Ryan Jones, he provides legal advice to the city. He's right there hiding. He provides legal advice to the city council and the city staff. He's also available for divorces and personal injury cases, so 1-800-CALL Ryan. So conspicuously absent today is Doug Herron. I think everybody here must know Doug Herron. He's been here for a long time. He has not yet retired, although he is in Idaho. He's not here tonight because I did tell him he can't retire until he finds a replacement. So he's out in Idaho somewhere trying to find a replacement to come here. But he has just been a tremendous asset to the city. He's brought so many projects and money to the city. A lot of the road things we wouldn't even be doing without Doug. So thank you, Doug. We've got our public works crew that are hiding in the back, even though I told them to come out and back there. Mike Baker is our public works supervisor. Addie Brown, our engineering, did she move? She was there. Is our engineering tech. Jean Harris, project manager. We got a little crew. We have more folks here than were in this picture, but that's one of our new pieces of equipment. So thank you to all those folks. I think the mayor kind of introduced them earlier, but our police department sitting there in the back, or standing there in the back, thank you very much for everything that you do for us. And then City Hall staff, they're a bunch of clowns, but thank you for everything that you guys do. Thank you. All right, yeah, it seems like every year we come to this point in the conversation where we bring up the fires. I'm getting a little bit tired of it. I'm going to hit this one real briefly, only because it's the biggest fire in California history. Almost 460,000 total acres burned. It was declared a federal disaster eligible for FEMA assistance. So if you do have a business and you feel like you were impacted by the fires, please get a hold of the SBA because there is financial assistance available there. We did participate, even though for the most part the fire surrounded us. We did participate in assisting with evacuations, roadblocks, looter patrols. Doug Herron staffed the Lakeport Emergency Operations Center for overnight shift and assisted in preparing the repopulation plan. As the mayor mentioned, we opened our parks to overnight camping, and we did distribute smoke filtration masks. Sulphur fire update. October 9th, 2017, it started around midnight. We ended up evacuating about 25% of the city. 158 structures were destroyed, over 180 vehicles, RVs, and boats destroyed. It was the worst disaster in Clearlake history. Significant cleanup management and supervision was by Public Works and by the County Environmental Health. It did set back our other city projects and efforts by months. Public Works was out there for 3 months just making sure that everything got cleaned up. We would be, even though I think we've made some great progress this year, we'd be even further ahead this year if it wasn't for these fires. But there were some positives. As I mentioned earlier, thanks to Senator McGuire and other elected officials, the governor agreed to cover the local share of disaster recovery. That number is approximately $400,000. If the governor had not agreed to do that, that $400,000 would have been coming out of the pocket of the city of Clearlake. We would have been on the hook for all that. So this was a fantastic win for the city, and again, that's thanks to Senator McGuire and some of the other elected officials. We applied for and received $112,500 for a grant to create a hazard mitigation plan, so that is in process, and I'll talk more about that later. We received $65,000 to recover some of our staffing costs through FEMA, so that was a good recovery. PG&E donated $75,000 to LARCA for an emergency generator. If you look at that big behemoth out there, that's our emergency generator. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Tipping Point donated $50,000 to LARCA, and LARCA stands for, and Mr. Kramer, if you can make sure I get this right, the Lake Area Rotary Club Association. Thank you. So Tipping Point donated another $50,000 to LARCA for portable showers. This facility here has not been used as an emergency shelter the way it should be, because we have not had an emergency backup generator and because we haven't had showers. Thanks to the efforts of LARCA, the efforts of some other people that I'll talk about in just a minute, PG&E, we're going to have those facilities here, and this will actually become an official emergency shelter. So that's a great positive for us. We have 11 temporary power poles installed to begin constructions. There's 5 single-family residences under construction in the city of Clearlake. Unfortunately, I was just talking to someone who is having troubles because the cost of construction is really high. So I'm hopeful that there'll be more as the insurance companies come around. We did allow temporary trailers within the burn area for rebuilders, and the biggest positive for the sulfur fires is that there were no lives lost. During the October wildfires, every other county had lives lost, except for Lake County, so that was just huge for us. Emergency preparation. I mean, we say this over and we say this over and we say this over. If you are not signed up with Nixle, get signed up with Nixle. It's real easy. You can either go to nixle.com or just text your zip code to 888-777 and you'll get notified. For us, that is our main way of notifying all of you folks that there is a problem and to be aware. A lesson that I learned in the sulfur fire, even though I preach this to everybody else, I don't listen to my own advice. Make sure you have a go bag. A go bag is all your medications, your clothes, anything that you need to be away from your house. I had to be evacuated. Well, I had to leave early to get to work, but I couldn't go back because where I lived was evacuated. Get prepared to evacuate when you see the advisory evacuation, and absolutely get out of there when there's a mandatory evacuation, because you really do hinder our first responders if you don't do it. Special thanks for our fire assistance. I'm probably not getting everybody, but CAL FIRE, Lake County Fire District, Chief Willie Cepeda, Clearlake Police Department, Public Works, Code Enforcement, Animal Control, the County of Lake, Sheriff Martin and the Sheriff's Office, the Lake County Office of Emergency Services, and Lake County Environmental Health, Community Development, and Animal Control, the City of Lakeport. They were hugely helpful. CHP and all other outside public safety organizations during the Mendocino Complex Fire and the Sulphur Fire, Valley Fire, all those. We've had police organizations that are coming from all throughout the state. We've had fire departments that are coming from not only just throughout the state, throughout the country, and throughout the world. Thank you to FEMA, Cal OES, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the SBA, Senator McGuire, Senator Bill Dodd, Assembly Members Aguiar, Curry, Wood, and Levine. And then, I think you know this, but I'm not sure everybody knows this. In our Mendocino Complex Fire, we did lose a firefighter who was actually not even from here. Utah Fire Department Battalion Chief Matthew Burkett, he was the one firefighter fatality on the Mendocino Complex Fire. If I could just ask you all just to take just a minute and think about the memory of him and what a lot of people have lost through a number of these fires. Upbeat from now on. Here we go. The mayor talked about volunteers. We just can't do it without volunteers. We can't do it all. We don't have the staff. We don't have the resources. So much is accomplished in Clear Lake due to volunteers and service groups. I said I'd talk about this more. Rotary, Larka, Russ Kramer, Dirk Sloten, Mike Dean, Dave Rogers, they all worked really hard to get this emergency generator in place. They're working to get the showers in place. They worked with PG&E. They've been bugging Tipping Point to get us the money. So if you could just give them a big round of applause, because this couldn't have happened without these guys. Other volunteers, service clubs, and donations. I don't know if everybody just understands how much is donated within this city. The Lakeshore Lions, they sponsor the Red Bud Parade and fireworks. We wouldn't have fireworks without the Lakeshore Lions. The Park Study Club, they provide the Austin Park flag. That's that huge flag in Austin Park where we have the special ceremony to put it up and take it down. That's donated by the Park Study Club. Phil Harris, Performance Mechanical, he provided an HVAC unit, that's heating and air for our animal shelter. The Clear Lake Police Department VIPs, our animal shelter volunteers. Vicki Leonard, she comes in to City Hall every week to volunteer. Jim Schultz, he's out at the Visitor Center volunteering. Everyone who participates in our city ad hoc committees, they're all volunteers. Nobody is paid for that. Many individuals and businesses have donated for events, charities, and to the city. So thank you all very much, all of those folks. I want to thank the Lake County Chamber of Commerce for letting me be involved with this year, the Stars of Lake County Award. This really is a cool thing if you haven't seen it. We have a couple of representatives here this year who have won this prestigious award. First of all, the volunteer organization. Any ideas who that could be? Any ideas? Who? CC4C, yes. Among the many things they do, they adopted Highway 53. They clean up throughout Clear Lake. They work with us on our Clear Lake Cleanup Day. They work with City on special projects. And then Nicole Cook, right here up front, she just has adopted Highlands Park. She spends her, I think, half of her life there, tending the flowers and picking up garbage and cleaning it and making it beautiful. So thank you to CC4C, and thank you to Nicole for all your work. We have another star of Lake County, a nonprofit organization, Adventist Health, Clear Lake. They have done so much for this county. They continue to do so much for this county. This picture here was from last year, right before the State of the City. They were here helping to paint this. So that was just one of the things. David Santos, the CEO, he has been doing amazing things with them. They're expanding the services in the South County and beyond. Last year, they gave a large donation to the Senior Center, and they're partnering with the city on various projects. I think there's a couple of representatives here from them. If you could just stand and let us thank you. And project restoration.
Great. Stephanie also got Stars of Lake County for Youth Advocate.
Oh, that's right. Yes, thank you. Project restoration is something that I think is a phenomenal model for how to deal with homelessness and some of the major utilizers of services within the county. Our previous mayor, Russ Purdock, Lieutenant Tim Selly, a lot of folks have been working with Adventist Health on this project. I just want to show you a clip of what it is.
A year ago, I was homeless. I went through divorce, depression, alcoholism. It started so fast that there was no going back, it seemed. When you're homeless and when you're using and drinking, you neglect everything. One of those nights that I was drunk, I got hit by a car. I was walking with a broken hip. I was close to dying and I really didn't care. A lot of times by the time we show up, it's gone way beyond what it should have because they really don't want help.
Just this last year, we had 27,000 incidents. You sometimes don't think about what led up to that situation.
And the story starts with a lot of desperation, sadness, hopelessness.
From homeless to getting sober, then now what? You know, I didn't have a plan B.
We need to fix the broken system.
What can we do that is going to have a countywide impact?
If we can break that cycle and give them a little bit of help to get them back on track.
We can coordinate all the services that are available and have them work together. It will be far more powerful.
The question ceased to be what if to when and how.
Restoration House is a place for people who are experiencing significant medical issues and are also homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. We provide intensive case management, a safe place to heal, and also a place where they're accountable for their choices and their actions.
This was something different. To change the whole concept of healthcare and caring for individuals. If we don't have a house, we don't feel safe, we don't have food, then we're not going to be healthy.
When they come into the program, I sit down with them and I talk about where do you need help? And we walk them through the process of what they need to do to get well.
From here, the goal is permanent housing, but we walk along that path with each resident so that they are ready when it becomes available to them. Change is possible.
A program that reaches out to them and makes that first move can make an impact.
To see that individual later on, being a productive member of our community, having a job, treating their kids properly, treating their family properly, that to me is tremendous.
This is a new beginning.
I just finally had someone that had faith in me. Restoration House has given me everything. Having my kids say they love me, finally.
You can't change the past, but you can change the future. And together we are doing that.
Adventist Health has made a substantial investment in this, and it is getting tangible results. They've reduced the use of the emergency department, they've reduced inpatient days, they reduced emergency transport responses, reduced jail days, over $1.5 million in community savings. That's not just at the hospital, but that's the fire department responding, the police department responding, people being in jail. So, this is just a phenomenal project. They're looking to expand it, and I just think it's fantastic. So thank you very much, Adventist. So what is the state of the city of Clear Lake? Well, the fires of the last few years have been a significant challenge and a drain on resources. We've still managed to make significant progress. Clear Lake is cleaner, safer, and better than it has been in many years, in my opinion. We still have challenges and we have a lot of work ahead of us. In February 2017, the City Council approved the city's strategic plan to further the following organizational vision. Clear Lake aspires to be a beautiful, clean, safe, friendly lakefront community where people want to live, start a business, vacation, or retire. They came up with a strategic plan that identified 4 primary goals as well as 3 supporting goals. I'm going to just focus on the primary goals tonight. First is making Clearlake a visibly cleaner city, making Clearlake a statistically safer city, improving the quality of life in Clearlake with improved public facilities, and improving the image of Clearlake. Anybody recognize that picture right there? That's the former Mario's. We used a receivership process to tear that down. That was an eyesore for many years. It took a lot longer to tear it down than we wanted, but we finally got it torn down. That's one of many buildings that we've been tearing down over the last few years. We recently received 2 major grants this year. First is we received $500,000 in community development block grant funds for code enforcement. This is going to ensure that we have code enforcement for the next several years. We also received a $214,000 Cal Recycle grant to demo blighted buildings. We're waiting on final approvals, but those demos are going to be starting soon. Code enforcement. In last year, what we called fiscal year end 2018, and again our fiscal year goes July 1st through June 30th, 587 code enforcement property cases were opened, 579 code enforcement property cases were closed, there were 410 currently open at the beginning of this fiscal year, 56 properties were red tagged, 122 marijuana abatement orders were issued, 104 properties voluntarily abated with over 3,200 marijuana plants, 18 properties were abated by warrant, almost 1,100 plants. We received, not only did we assess, but we received $81,563 in marijuana admin penalties and property admin penalties. So we're recovering a lot of the costs that are taking us to do these types of things. Abandoned vehicle abatement. This was another huge success for us last year. We tagged 605 vehicles last fiscal year that were just abandoned. 195 of those vehicles got towed, and another 410, they were what's called gone on arrival, so someone didn't move them. Universal solid waste collection. That ordinance went into effect April 1st. There's approximately 1,000 new homes in Clearlake that are subscribers to garbage service. What do you think that's going to do to illegal dumping in this city? It's going to clean this place up. I think this is phenomenal. This is one of those things where I talked earlier about CC4C, Clearlake Citizens Caring for Clearlake, and partnering with the city. This was a project that was at Coloco and Pearl, and if you don't know where that is, that's basically a few blocks behind City Hall. This is before. This is just a lot. Unfortunately, this picture doesn't really show the magnitude of the problem. I mean, this actually kind of is cleaned up from where it was. This is when the city started to get involved with it. So that's the before, and that's the after. Thank you, CC4C. The woman on the right is my wife. That's why I had to put this picture up, so thank you for participating. But this was Clearlake Cleanup Day, which was in April. Every April we go out and we pick an area of town to clean up. CC4C always brings out a huge contingent for that. We have city employees out there, and we have other volunteers. I didn't get the stats on what we actually picked up this year, but it was quite a bit. We had a number of garbage bins that were the big, like 40-yarders that were picked up from that. Making Clearlake a statistically safer city. We had a few challenges in staffing last year. We lost 9 officers to retirement, disability, and other agencies. This is not unusual. Lots of cities are experiencing these same types of things. But this was a huge challenge for our agency. We had gotten up to full staffing in dispatch, but we're starting to get a little bit challenged again with dispatch. However, we were able to hire 5 new officers last year, although 2 didn't make it through the probation. We hired 1 dispatcher and 1 CSO, which is a community service officer. And this is exciting. We currently have 9 officers in background, so I think we're going to be able to fill out our police force this year. I'm very excited about that. And as I mentioned earlier, we hired a new chief. So there were some challenges, but we were able to make some progress as well. Calendar year. So the stats that you're going to see, although normally a lot of the things that I talk about here are during our fiscal year, this is a calendar year stat. So this is kind of a mind-blowing number. 27,081 were the number of incidents handled by the Clearlake Police Department in the calendar year 2017. That was up 11.7% over 2016. That's not good. However, the number of arrests was 2,002, which was down 9.9% from the previous year. And there was no change in the number of criminal homicides. Overall, the Part 1 crimes, which are basically the crimes that are recorded through FBI, were down 6.26%, so that was a positive. We've been upgrading our PD vehicles. We have entered into a leasing program with Enterprise to get brand new vehicles for the police department. We were able to get a new incident command evidence vehicle that was basically given to us for $1 from Lake County Fire Protection District. So thank you very much, Willie Cepeda and the Lake County Fire Protection District. That really helps our investigation unit when they get out there for a crime. We've upgraded our PD technology, as I mentioned. This was actually done a few months ago. We had a great presentation at City Council, but I just want to show you some of the things. This is something you can go home, check on your own computer. If you're interested in finding out what kind of crime is going on. We now have online crime mapping. So you can pick an activity date range, and then there's the different types of calls over here, and you can check and see, okay, within that date range, what is there that's of interest to you. You can find out if your neighbor's been arrested. Oh, it's not showing? Oh. All right, well, sorry. It's really cool. Go check it out. It was working earlier. It worked in rehearsals. Thank you. All right, so crime mapping. We got the crime mapping. It's called Citizen REMS. We also now have laptops in the police department vehicles. We are moving towards paperless reports. We are working towards an improved 911 service, and we're looking to add additional streetlights throughout the city. We're working with PG right now on a plan to install additional streetlights. All those things are in process. Animal control. We've increased our staffing levels to 2 animal control officers, 1.5 kennel technicians, and 1 part-time admin adoption person. We have an ad hoc committee that's meeting regularly to discuss policies and problems. As I mentioned earlier, Performance Mechanical donated a new heating and air conditioning system. We have a new shelter management software that should be live by October. Again, as I mentioned, we're moving towards technology. You're going to be able to go online, get real-time access for found and adoptable dogs. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really hoping that's going to help us to adopt out more dogs. We've got a couple of animal control events that are happening. On Saturday, September 15th, there's a rabies vaccination clinic. And then our Bow Wow Luau. It's the first annual, hopefully, to raise funds for our animal control. So that's Saturday, September 29th. I hope to see you all there. I mentioned earlier our hazard mitigation plan. The city received a $112,000 grant to create a hazard mitigation plan for the city. It identifies hazards and mitigations to reduce the damage for these future problems. By having a hazard mitigation plan, we'll be eligible for grant funds to do mitigations to avoid those types of situations. The city awarded a contract with a consultant, the Lake County Plan, and there will be upcoming community meetings on this as the consultant prepares a draft plan. So I hope that you guys will come out for that as well, because we really want your input on what we can do to help to mitigate these problems. All right, improve public facilities. This was our primary goal number 3. Measure B. Anyone ever heard of that? Thank you all for voting for it. Those of you that did. Measure B is going to transform this community. I guarantee you that. It's over time. The city Public Works has been using 20-year-old equipment, and it keeps breaking down. And so we've invested in new equipment. We are hiring new employees. We're out there doing grading now. We've got 2 crews of graders. We completed a guardrail project on Old Highway 53. We never would have had money to do those types of safety projects in the past. There's a country club road rehab project that is in process right now. That's right off of Lakeshore. I believe that's between Lakeshore and Arrowhead. Pine Street Road rehab project, that's in front of the Burns Valley School. That is in process. There is a road, actually someone just asked me about this today, didn't you? There is a road and crosswalk striping project that was awarded, and that should be getting going here in just a few weeks. We've gotten a lot of complaints that people can't see the lines in the middle of the road. That's going to get fixed. We had hoped to have the Harbor Lane Road rehab projects started this year, but the bids came in higher than we had planned for, so we're going to be rebidding that in the winter, and that'll be one of the first projects we work on next year. Other road projects. This project, 18th and Phillips, was just completed last year, August 30th. It was funded primarily by grant funds. That's $2 million in grant funds that came into the city for this road. We used to get complaints about how bad this was. Now we get complaints about how fast people go. So another project that we have coming up is the Highlands Park frontage and off-street parking. That project is in design. We currently have that funded by bond funds, and we're looking at some potential grant funding as well. Other road projects. I really want to talk about this one a little bit. To me, this is the most important project that we have going on right now in the city of Clear Lake. This is the Dam Road extension from to 18th and Phillips. So Dam Road extension is the road that goes right in front of Walmart and the college and the KDC. This is going to go from where it dead ends up, kind of make an S turn and go into 18th and Phillips. One of the things that we found out when we were trying to evacuate the avenues for the Clayton fire is that there just weren't enough roads to exit the avenues. This is going to add one more way of getting out of there in case of an emergency. But on a more day-to-day level, the folks that live in the avenues, they go to the college, they go to the KEC, they go to Walmart and shopping. Now they have to go out to State Route 53, go south, make a left on Dam Road. We find that we're getting bottlenecks there all the time. So this is going to take a substantial amount of traffic off of State Route 53 and let them go directly in there. So this, to me, is a phenomenal project. The construction contract was approved for $1.024 million. It is currently in process. They're out there doing it as we speak. It is the first new road in Clear Lake in I don't know how many years. Imagine that. The first new road in Clear Lake. So to me, this is a phenomenal step forward, and it's going to be completed this year. So great project. SB1 funding. This one is something that you'll be seeing on the November ballot. I'm not here to advocate. I'm just here to educate what it is. It is the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017. It is for road maintenance and rehabilitation. It is also for safety projects, complete street projects, and traffic control devices. The city of Clear Lake will receive an additional $4.35 million over 10 years above the previous gas tax because of SB1. But I'm not here to advocate. We also received $200,000 for a civic center improvement project that I'm really not going to talk about today because that's one of next year's projects. But the city of Clear Lake is really benefiting from SB1. Parks projects. Highlands Park. I've talked about this in the past. We've gone through a whole master plan. That master plan is completed. We currently have construction plans that are being in design. This is something that we're looking for additional funding for through CDBG, Community Development Block Grants. That's a process that we're going to be going through. September 18th, we're having a public hearing to talk about that. So if anyone wants to come out and get your 2 cents heard, that's where you can do it. And then we are hoping to apply for that in December and hopefully get some, hopefully see some money here next year on that project. Let's see if this works. So this is the Highlands Park frontage project. As you can see, there's going to be angled parking in front of Highlands Park, as well as a bus turnout lane. Highlands Park is going to feature horseshoe pits, bocce ball. I can't do this backwards. We're going to clean up the beach. There'll be gazebos. There'll actually be a restroom out there, which I get a lot of complaints about. So we're excited about that project. Austin Park, same type of thing. The master plan was completed. The plans are in design for a 2019 start on phase 1. Assuming we can get additional money, we'll be doing as much as we can. Again, a possible project for CDBG. Austin Park Waterfront Interpretive Trail. Oops. That is this area right here along the waterfront. We received $175,000 from the state to put in an interpretive trail where we'll have panels that talk about the wildlife and the history and those types of things. So we're excited about that project. Other public facility projects that we've been working on. Everybody just look up for a second, if you would. You see that fan? This year, we put solar on this building. We had HVAC retrofits. We had LED retrofits. They had this fan. The events that I've had here, I've never been cool in this building, but for the most part, the events that we've had in this building have been a lot cooler. We've done the same types of things without the fan over at City Hall. The exciting thing about these projects is that they pay for themselves by the money that we save in power. So we're very excited about this project. That is complete. Our Public Works Courtyard relocation to Augulin Canyon, that currently is in environmental review and in pre-design. Animal control facility, that also is in pre-design. We're looking at various options for that. Our goal number 4, which is to improve the image of the city. We created a standing monthly marketing committee. One of the projects that we did there was to update the city seal. We updated the city motto, which is living the lake life. We had our city photo contest that I talked about earlier. We are working on some wayfinding signage, and they are helping us to plan upcoming events. We have a vacancy on the committee right now. If you're interested, please apply for it. We'd love to see you out there. Councilmember Overton says this is her most fun committee, so come on out and work with us. Marketing committee was also involved, although the PD took the lead on this, but PD graphics on vehicles and patches. We are promoting positive events like the 4th of July, the National Night Out. Unfortunately, our National Night Out had to be canceled this year due to the fires, but we're certainly planning to have those in the future. State of the City, thank you for being here. City Halloween. Slow crowd. Christmas parade, tree lighting. These are all positive events that we're having here in the city of Clearlake. We issued over 50 positive press releases just in this last year. We've had a lot going on, so I'm very proud of that. If you want to get information about what's happening in the city on a more regular basis, sign up for my city manager update newsletter. You can either just download it off our website, or you can let me know and I'll add you to the distribution email. Some other project updates. The Planning Commission approved several new projects recently. First, there's an off-road vehicle builder on Lakeshore next to the donut shop. Anyone notice that? It's there. We have a gas station project that is going to be going in across from Mobile. That's where the old gas station was. There's going to be a new gas station there. A project that I'm really excited about just went to the Planning Commission a couple of weeks ago. This is the Clearlake Cottages and Marina expansion. I don't know if you're familiar with the Clearlake Cottages and Marina or not, but to me, this is one of the nicest hotel motels around in Lake County, basically. They feel like there is enough business and opportunity here in Clearlake that they are going to be expanding 6 additional units. So I'm very excited about this project. I think you know, Tractor Supply and Big 5 are now open. We're very excited about that. Thank you to both of the chambers for showing up for our grand openings. They were great events. Some other project updates that you may or not be aware of. The council recently has approved 4 development agreements with commercial cannabis companies. These commercial cannabis companies, through these development agreements, will hopefully be providing quite a bit of revenue to the city in the future. We completed a refunding, which is essentially a refinancing of approximately $14 million in redevelopment bonds. That refunding will be saving the city several million, or the successor agency to the redevelopment agency, several $million over the life of the funds, of the bonds. We're also working with Lake County EDC, which is the Economic Development Corporation. And if you haven't met Andy Lucas, I don't know if he's still here. Oh, he's in the back. Say hi to Andy Lucas. Andy is with the Lake County EDC. I'm on the board of that. That is the first countywide economic development organization that we have. They are working to try and not only bring in businesses, but work with the businesses that we have. They have been providing funding for a number of local businesses. Did you provide, did Classy Cakes get?
Not through us, but we helped them to access it, yes.
Terrific. But there's a number of businesses that have been getting direct loans through Lake County EDC. We are working with them on the countywide economic development strategic plan, along with the city of Lakeport, the county of Lake, and various others. Our development code, zoning code, is in the process of being updated. We finished our general plan a couple years ago, so this is the next step. And we are close to having an agreement with Caltrans for our airport shopping center project. This is not going to make the airport shopping center project happen right away, but it is a vital step for us going in that direction. This has to do with the future of State Route 53, which supposedly is going to be a freeway at some point. And so we want to make sure that we have the interchanges in the proper places so it doesn't eventually have to take out buildings. So in conclusion, thank you all for listening to me for all these. The city of Clearlake has a lot of challenges, maybe more than most cities. Crime is still too high. We have a lot of roads that need work. There's too many homeless. We need more jobs. There's still a lot of blight. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take a while to really transform Clearlake. But more is happening now than at any time in Clearlake's history as a city. Businesses are opening and expanding. Revenues are improving. City buildings are being improved. Public works equipment is being upgraded. Streets are getting graded and repaved. A new street is being built for the first time in decades. None of this stuff was happening before. Park improvements are in design. More homes have garbage service than ever. We have a functioning visitor center and chamber building. Police vehicles and technology are being upgraded. There are fewer abandoned vehicles on the street. There are fewer illegal marijuana grows. The city of Clearlake is cleaner, safer, better than it has been in a long time. This last year has been a lot more challenging than I expected, but we continue to make progress through the City Council's vision statement. As I mentioned earlier, Clearlake aspires to be a beautiful, clean, safe, friendly, lakefront community where people want to live, start a business, vacation, or retire. I want to end with a video. Oh, before I end with a video, I just want to thank some dignitaries for showing up. Lake County Schools Superintendent Brock Falkenberg. Lake County Sheriff Brian Martin. Lake County District Attorney Don Anderson. And Lake County District 2 Supervisor Jeff Smith. Where's Jeff? Sorry if I missed anything. All right. This video originally was just going to be played over here. Alan Flora put this together, and I saw it, and I went, no. I want everybody to see this, so.
Stretching along the eastern shores of North America's oldest natural lake, from Anderson Marsh State Historic Park at the south to beyond Monitor Point on the north, is the city of Clearlake. Its 10.5 square miles were incorporated in 1980 and house a population of over 15,000. in addition to thousands of tourists each year. Once a hot spot for recreation of the Bay Area crowd, Lake County communities have struggled to maintain public services and infrastructure. However, passage of Measure B funding for road maintenance and other local initiatives have placed the city on the path to resurgence.
As a citizen and a former elected official of the city of Clearlake, I am proud to be part of positive changes that are happening. When I was elected in 2012, things were super bleak, and we were dedicated to doing the groundwork for positive change. And I'm so excited this will be involved in the ways that I am with that positive change. Positive change is being anything from road repairs to new businesses coming to town, like Tractor Supply and Big Five. And our Chamber of Commerce finally has a dedicated forever home, along with the South Shore Visitor Center of Lake County. We have parks, and everything that the community has asked for is in the works. And I'm just super excited to be part of this community and be able to be part of the change going forward.
Through a local strategic planning and visioning process, Clearlake is on the move, becoming cleaner and safer, growing and improving, and sustainable. Business expansion and attraction efforts over the past few years have resulted in the first significant job creation within the city in many, many years. A key success of the last year is the opening of both Big Five and Tractor Supply, resulting in dozens of local jobs. Several new cannabis businesses have been recently permitted and are under development. Agreements between each business and the city will result in a new revenue stream to provide expanded city services. Code enforcement has been reorganized and re-energized with additional funding to provide more community impact. Dilapidated properties are being targeted for cleanup, particularly in commercial and high visibility areas. The city has three main parks, two of which are due for major investment from currently unused redevelopment bond funds. Highlands Park and Austin Park are perfectly located along the lake shore and as part of the downtown corridor to beautify and re-energize the community core with upgraded amenities such as bocce ball, interpretive trails, and outdoor concerts. The planning and design process takes time, but just around the corner are community facilities for all to enjoy and be proud of. Public safety resources are supported by the largest part of the city's discretionary revenue. Local initiatives and partnerships have reduced all categories of crime rates in the past 2 years. With Chief White's new energy and leadership, we expect collaborative community policing to expand and further strengthen safety outcomes in the years ahead. Our individual reliance on technology seems to grow with each week. In each of our lives, we have an increased expectation of access to information and the ability to conduct business seamlessly on our smartphone or tablet. The city has struggled to keep up with technological advances over the past decade, but that is changing. Many initiatives are underway to upgrade city systems to allow real-time access to information for both city staff and the public. Whether it is analyzing long-term pension costs, conducting street sign inventory, streamlining the pet adoption process, or allowing you to apply for new permits online, we are working to bring your interactions with the city in line with how you have become accustomed to conducting business elsewhere. Animal care and control from the city has been through many iterations in recent years. Today, the city is strengthening the operation through a team of officers, kennel staff, and dedicated volunteers. The temporary animal shelter is receiving some needed upgrades, and partnerships with rescue groups and other resources throughout Northern California are being established and strengthened. Perhaps the biggest community issue within the city over the past several years has been a way to adequately maintain and upgrade the local transportation system. Funding from Measure B and additional state revenue have begun rolling in, and the city is taking full advantage of the new resources. Many new projects are being planned and designed, with nearly $3 million in new or rehabilitated roads to be constructed this year. Additionally, the many unpaved miles of roads in the city are being treated to a little love. City crews are trimming trees and brush before filling, compacting, and grading the most heavily traveled sections of the city. Two grading crews are now out on the streets every week, making sure our roads are done right.
I have to say that the city of Clearlake is really on the move, and so many improvements have taken place in the past few years that now they seem to be triple, if not quadruple. Greg Wilson, as the new city manager for the past 3 years, has made marked differences in the direction of Clearlake. And the residents of the city are really excited, and that energy and enthusiasm is coming forth all the time. And the way I look at this is that anything good that happens in Clearlake is good for the entire county. The addition of new stores such as Tractor Supply and Big Five, what major moves this has made, not just for that city. So we all wish everyone in Clearlake fabulous fabulous time with their new exciting future.
The City of Clearlake organization is dedicated to service, committed to community, and striving for transformation.
Alan floored it, and I was just floored. All right, everybody, thank you very much for showing up. I want to thank the Clearlake Chamber of Commerce, the Lake County Chamber of Commerce, our City Council. The City Council sets the policy. They're the folks who really are saying this is what we want to achieve in this city. City staff, we're just making that happen. I want to thank the Planning Commission, Chatterbox Catering, again, city staff, thank you all very much. It couldn't happen without you guys. All of the volunteers, my wife, and then all of you, the citizens of Clearlake. Thank you all very much. See you next time. Please finish the cake and the hors d'oeuvres.